Dubois Strong is the topic in this edition of WJTS In.Form. Hello, I am your host, Bill Potter, and joining me in the studio is a man who wears many different hats, and this year he's wearing yet another hat, and that is Marc Stezyck, who is the town manager for the town of Ferdinand. You're the chamber
executive director of the Ferdinand
and,
Chamber of Commerce.
And you're now the chairman of the Dubois Strong organization.
Yes, yeah. Took over January 1, actually, and I'm very excited to have the opportunity. Actually representing from my Ferdinand Chamber hat is how I sit on that board of directors, and now as the chairman of the executive committee, if you will.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Dubois Strong in this
Sure.
edition. Dubois Strong, we've had Mike as a guest. We have had in the past other guests, but still people seem to be a little confused as to what is Dubois Strong. What's the point? What's the purpose?
You know, the reality of it is we can kind of put it in a very small nutshell. The Mike's purpose and the staff of Dubois Strong, which used to be the Dubois County Area Development Corporation, now they're doing business as Dubois Strong with the marketing rebranding that we did less than a year ago. But in a nutshell, the person and the staff, the personnel of Dubois Strong, are to act as liaisons to the local businesses, and the local governments and municipalities in the area of economic development. That's, you know, it seems like that's pretty vague and low key, but that's what it is.
So you're out trying to get businesses to locate here, but you're also working to keep businesses here?
Oh, retention is huge, yeah. I'd say the organization began in 2005, and I think I came on board in 2008 as a member of the board of directors, but retention has been the biggest function of Dubois Strong to date. Now, we are starting to do things that are capitalizing not only on the retention efforts, but looking at trying to bring other businesses in and diversifying the economic outlook of Dubois County.
Okay, and you mentioned diversifying. I think a lot of times when you think of economic development, oh, that means let's bring a factory to the county or
Sure.
to wherever the economic development is.
Sure.
That's really not the purpose entirely.
No, we are extraordinarily rich and fortunate in the area of manufacturing jobs. You know, another report came down from the state about the unemployment levels, and of course Dubois County was again a leader in the state. So I mean, we're fortunate in that we have a great manufacturing base and a number of just extraordinary companies in our county. But in order to combat the brain drain that everyone continues to talk about, I think it's important that we not only looked at retaining those manufacturing jobs and positions, but bringing in new positions and diversifying the type of companies and businesses that we have in this county. Because as you know, a lot of the kids that graduate now, you know, they go off to their 2-year certification programs, and then, or they go off to their 4-year college degrees, and then they're looking for jobs. And if they want to come back home, sometimes, you know, we might not have something that would fit. But if we can diversify the economic base, then it's only going to be better for Dubois County.
Is there something that we're lacking in Dubois County? I mean, manufacturing, we're terrific, and the wood furniture
Sure.
business, it's great, but is there something that people are going, oh, I guess we don't have anything like that?
Well, you know, I think we actually just went to the economic forecasting luncheon that the Rotarians held, and the agribusiness is obviously good in our county. The transportation business is surprisingly good. Meyer Distribution just announced a $20 million expansion, and of course Stens and their things that they're doing. But I think the white collar jobs are the ones that we keep hearing about from kids that want to come back, that, you know, they're not here. And, you know, of course, even the Kimballs and the Best Home Furnishings and those places like that are traditionally woodworking places, they have engineering jobs and they have IT jobs and things like that. So we need to get that word out, and then also if we can attract that type of business to come to the county, or a type of business that would have those type of jobs with it, then we certainly need to do everything we can to do it.
Yeah, Dubois Strong is funded in what way?
It's a public-private partnership. It's very unique in nature. It operates on a $250,000 budget every year, $125,000 from the public sector, meaning the municipalities like Jasper, Huntingburg, Ferdinand. The county is a big supporter, and then $125,000 from the private sector. Now, when the big recession hit in 2008, or the start of a big recession. I don't know if that's kind of a dirty word nowadays, but the board at that time decided to tell the private investors, hey, cut your investments in half. When the economy bounces back, you know, bring it back up to speed. And As you can imagine, that never quite happened. So the public contributions remain strong, and it's $125,000 every year. The private went up to, under Jim Dinkle's leadership, who left in August, I believe, or September, went up to about $62,000. So we're still a little shy of where we need to be on the private sector. So it's my goal this year to work with Dubois Strong staff and do everything we can to get the private sector contributions back to where they need to be.
And you call them investors.
Sure. We call them investors because we feel it's a strong investment in your community and the place that you not only live but work and hopefully have recreation opportunities as well. So it's an investment in making your community a better place to live.
Now, Mike Cummings is the interim president and has been for some time.
Sure. Mike has done a fantastic job. He's a very details-oriented person and a numbers person, and he really likes digging into the numbers that we have. And we've got a great tool in Buxton Analytics software that not many people in the state of Indiana have. So he's been great to have on board in that capacity and in keeping the organization afloat. Having taken over in January and in talking to Mike and talking to the executive committee, we kind of dove into the financials and looked at some of the commitments that we have. You know, the Buxton Analytics, which is available to our investors, is a nearly $30,000 commitment. We have $100,000 committed to the advanced manufacturing facility at VUJC, which is going to be the future home of Dubois Strong, by the way. And then we also have $50,000 tied up in the Purdue TAP program, which Adam offered. I don't know if you've had him on your program, but very beneficial. And very beneficial in a diverse amount of ways to our investors and the community as well. So in looking at those commitments and then adding them all up and the operational costs of our organization, kind of made sense to just sit back here and try to get back to where we need to be financially before we resume the executive director search.
For Dubois Strong, if somebody's thinking, oh, it would be nice to have that sort of industry in this area, or I know somebody who's looking to expand, should they contact Dubois Strong?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a website, duboisstrong.com. The phone number is 812-482-9650. And the office is on Geiger Street right now in the old town hall in Huntingburg. But yeah, absolutely. Mike and Brenda Heege is our administrative personnel, and they are ready and waiting for those calls to come in.
Those leads, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, and you know, certainly we get leads from the state just like everybody else does. So Mike and Brenda are constantly working on those type of things. But yeah, we're ready for those type of calls, and we have been fielding those calls. And once we get the magic fit, if you will, everything comes together, we'll start landing some of those things.
And maybe one of those deals too, where something comes to this area and it was because of the work, partially or in whole by what Dubois Strong did, but you won't necessarily get the credit.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's okay. That's okay.
You don't care about that.
No.
You just want somebody coming here. It helps all of us.
Absolutely, it helps us all, and if we can help facilitate that in any way, we're certainly going to do our best to do that.
All right. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I think we're good. Our investor campaign is going on right now, so you can check it out at duboisstrong.com.
All right. Thank you very much. Our guest has been Marc Stezyck. He is the chairman for Dubois Strong for 2013. He's also many other different things. Thank you, Marc, for being on the show.
Thanks, Bill.
This is WJTS. We're local people watching local people.